At least things are working now. I know it's a really odd hour for me to be live, in all honesty. Oh, that's the narrowest we can go. Alright. Hi, chat. I know I'm a bit late today, but you gotta pardon me for it. Will you look at the time? Where do you live? It's 10 o'clock. I am in the Philippines. Yeah. Pause. You want me to flip the coin this early? I wonder if any of my regulars are even still awake. It's 7 a.m., says Gal. Good morning. I can't watch, too bad. Found a pretty nice spot, too. Very nostalgic place. Immediately 11 viewers. So yeah, hi. Um, Let's put this here. The camera. There we go. Ah, man, I am starting really late in the stream. Bye, gal. Good luck at school. Yeah, I'm in seventh heaven. Where else? Where else? The great city of Midgar. Not so great anymore at present, but yeah. Hello, darling. Yeah, go to bed soon, alright? It's that time already. So, why are you starting so late? One, I slept through my alarm. Two, I slept through my snooze alarms. And here we are. I also did a bunch of things beforehand. I had breakfast. I had to do a little bit of chores. Arcady says, just saying hello. I actually need to sleep. Arcades, go ahead, go. I'm also experimenting with this new time slot. Let's see how this works out. Are the goggles reactive? Not at the moment. I haven't set up the fist bones for it. Forgot. Yeah. What face tracking are you using? You mean my hardware? No. Nothing but a humble Quest Pro. Do you think I have a fancy piece of kit on my face? Long time no see, Gib. Hello, Rico. Pita. So, I am guessing to most of you, this is your first time seeing the update, the new look. I look fancier. Is that all? See ya, Arcades. I appreciate you dropping by and just saying hello. No pressure in staying. Thanks, Snook. Well, I would be sleeping probably, but Ryan's playing Repo and Scream. It's now your time to say, shut it. Or you can let Ryan get away with it. And then when the next opportunity strikes you, well, you can now hold it against Ryan. Like, hey, I was noisy and you were noisy. I was noisy tonight, but you were noisy the other night. And I didn't tell you off. Right? Question. Is the scale detailing around the eyes done as a normal map on texture or actually sculpted in Blender? That is an excellent question. That is if my aperture will show it. That's a normal map. Substance painting. I think it adds a nice little touch because I have a mix of, well, cartoonish aesthetics and a bit of realism sprinkled in. Hello, August. Basement dweller versus upstairs room. Yeah. Whoa, tracking. Done. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, how are you guys? Yo, he's back. I've always been here. You probably just haven't been catching me during my usual streaming time, which is 6 hours to 8 hours prior to now. Hi there, Miko. Thank you for revising your introductions in the introductions channel. I appreciate it. I know we all want to put our fanciful prompts there, but I, we have a very simple format. Good afternoon, Graham. Vlad, and who else did I miss? May I draw you? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. Why not? I'm doing well. I started watching your VoDs recently and they're very comfy. I appreciate your streams. Thank you. I'm trying my best to bring something different in the creator space for VR chat. In a predominantly adult oriented streaming space, there seems to be a lack of slice of life things like what I'm doing. I just want to bring people to where I am. You know what I mean? It's just a moment that I can share with you. A view into a bigger part of a living world. Keeping company. Nothing complicated. No goals, no nothing. No subatons. Just a conversation between you and me. Well, and the rest of chat, of course. Vesper says I've been jump scared by ants, just trying to relax to sleep, and then all of a sudden, hi, welcome to IKEA. I don't know how to disable it. I wish I did. Hi there, Gusty. Terrence. Yeah, just hanging around quite literally. Quite the view, actually. I mean, how can you say no to sights like those? Walka says, thanks for recommending me that tea, by the way. Yeah, sure, no problem. I hope you liked it. It helped clear my voice for our band practices. See, the tea works. Or if you want a simple throat remedy, all you need is honey, some ginger, maybe a bit of lemon. Bern is asking what got you into doing VR live? Just curious. That's a great question actually. Um I was bored. I was bored and I wanted to make friends and wanted to share the same sense of wonder I've got from experiencing the fantastic places you can see here in virtual reality. It's just nice. There's there's just so much I've seen, I've heard, I've been through, I've experienced ever since I got into VR chat last year. Yes, chat, I'm actually relatively new. I started last year. You need to read bedtime stories. Once upon a time, there was a wolf. The wolf would always visit me in my cottage, constantly bringing in little gifts from the forest. As the months went by, me and the wolf got closer. You know, normally such a wild animal wouldn't really appreciate company other than, well, themselves, but somehow I got welcomed into that space. And as the days went by, even more so, I've been seeing the wolf less. Hmm. I have a feeling. I have a feeling something shinier simply caught their eye. But who am I to complain? They were a free spirit even before I was there. Oh, yeah. In short, small lesson. When you meet friends, don't be sad when friendships turn into fleeting moments. Okay? Not everybody's gonna be there to stay by your side forever. So, enjoy the journey, the time you have together, while they're still close. Rose is saying, when you refer to the slice of life, how deep do you like going in conversation? Some or lots? Well, there are a few topics I really don't want to touch upon, like politics and religion and, those can of worms. Other than that, just think of it as chatting with a stranger who you turn into an acquaintance and maybe have hopes of being a friend. There. Gab, is it okay if I ask you some advice? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, why, if it isn't your, go ahead. What do you have in store for me today? What's that? Um, what advice would you give someone who's starting to make textures for avatars for the first time? Don't do it in Photoshop. See if you can grab Substance Painter. It's gonna make your life so much easier. Yeah. Bye. Hi, Kurt. Glad you could drop my stream. Can I eat the coin you're playing with? You know, this coin, as gold as it looks, it isn't actually edible. It isn't one of those chocolate coins, wrapped with gold foil. I used to eat that a lot when I was younger, too. I have exams coming up. Do you have any advice for revising? Revising for them? Revising or studying? Don't doom scroll or distract yourself for one whole day before your exam. So your mind is filled with nothing but the information you're required to recall. Yeah, boss, it's me again, Aline. Hi. Rose continues with the question. I'm curious, what keeps you motivated to keep going in content creation? Well, I suppose it's just like my eagerness to greet the next day be coming regardless of what you do. Tomorrow will always happen, chat. So tomorrow also always affords new opportunities, right? It's my well, I don't know. It's a brand new day, so there's always room for adventure and new things to happen. Stuff like that. Hold on, you know what? Let me slip into something more comfortable. There, I think this works better. What keeps me motivated primarily, though, is I get to talk with you guys again. New day, new things to say. I'll see you around, Walka. Go help your friend pack. Grim Knight says, so you're kind of like a caretaker greeting the travelers, passing by and sharing some wisdom. you, can, you can think of me what you want to think of, as long as it's something in the positive light. Hello, Unclean. Good night, Spartan. Hello, Finn. Waffy says, I'm bored, so I'm watching the coin move, and your voice is so soothing. It makes me want to sleep on stream. Go ahead, nobody's stopping you. This is nice. I can actually lean my arms now. I don't know, Palarmi, bro. Are you sure you're clicking the correct link? Hold on, I've been playing the damn theme since earlier. Is it? Should be. I'm definitely gonna be bonked by Square Enix. So we're gonna play my usual. Yeah. Good night, Graham. I have a question to what advice would you give to someone who wants to start VR chat streaming? One, have the correct setup. Like, um, well, have the correct avatar and have the proper hardware for it. Um, And most of all, you gotta know why you want to stream, right? You gotta have an objective. Like, what for? Do you just wanna chat with chat? Do you wanna showcase skills that you have? Like, perhaps you're a musician, you're a dancer, like most, right? These little things. Vesper says, to be entirely fair, his voice is very calming. I've fallen asleep in VR chat while talking to him before, and it's a little difficult to sleep without some noise accompaniment as so late. Back to cozying up to the body pillow, I'm half asleep. Close your eyes and drift off into slumber. Sam is on top somehow. On top of what, Sam? I'm curious. Oh, thank you for the 7 coins. Wafi says, gaming as a skill, right? Because you said show off skills. Precisely. I've seen a lot of VR chat streamers who also dip into having a VTuber set up and then they play games, which is perfectly cool. You could also be like Dragon, my friend. He plays games while having his like full body setup somehow. I'm not sure how that's done, but yeah. Oh, well, if it isn't Wolfie. Your absence has been notable as of late. Welcome. I was wondering where you went. Not a single word of how you are or what's going on. But of course, I'm not one to pry. Who's this? I can't read the name. Lionheart Kingston. Ah. Hello there. I saw your full body tracking in your avatar, and I just had to give a follow. Gorgeous. Oh, thanks. Welcome to the stream. Why is hydrate 1.5? Because a lot of my chatters were spamming that, and I had to go to the bathroom a whole lot of times midstream. So I made the price a little bit higher. Oh yeah, at least now you know. Why do you need water in your body? Well, to survive, of course. Wolfie says, yeah, I missed the last two because I kinda got hyper focused on terrors out of nowhere in VR chat and played it a bit much as of late. Oops. I will remember that. So the term is oops. Alright. Oops. Cypher says, every time I see your stream, I refuse to believe that you're in VR chat. I am in VR chat. See? Very VR chatty. I just like have funny camera angles. Also, the benefit of arm trackers. It's midnight for advanced RGB. Good morning from Germany. Good morning, Alres. I see why Wolfie's here. Glad I'm still following continuous cipher so I can tune in sometimes. Of course. Remember, you're always welcome in my streams, guys. If anything, I will start wondering where you guys are once you don't show up. Like, huh? Do you speak a little German? Wolfie did teach me a phrase, right? Called Scheisse Opa. Psst. It was a funny little phrase. Lionheart says, okay. First, you overwhelmed me. Now you just made me think of 90 different photos I could take. I used to be a VR chat photographer. I take photos too, but I'll never entitle myself as a VR chat photographer. I'm not getting paid for it. But I bet you take good photos too. If anything, I actually follow a whole lot of VR chat photographers because they usually visit the nice worlds which I end up frequenting into. Like this, for example. I saw this world on Twitter earlier and I was like, hey, hold on. That's from Final Fantasy. My god, why never teach nice German words? I don't know, wow. Iris says, I'm the same. I follow a lot of VR chat photographers to see unique worlds. Same. They're fantastic resources for such places. Hmm. Hi there, Arya. It's 12 a.m. here, says Sam. Goodness, it's late. I know. I'm really not expecting much today because of, well, the time I'm streaming. If we were to compare the usual time that I go live, I always tell myself, Gebas, go online at 2:30 a.m. your time. You know what time is it right now? It's 1:22 p.m. So that's 11 hours late. But then again, streaming isn't really a contractual job. I have no schedule obligations and whatnot, though. I know most of my viewers are inconvenienced, my regulars in particular. But there is a silver lining to all this. This gives an opportunity for people that haven't been able to catch streams before to watch them now, right? Todo is sending finger hearts, thanks. By regulars, you mean. Why did your message disappear? By regulars, you mean us. Yes, chat. You. Where do you come from? What country? The Philippines. It's a little island nation by the equator. It's Southeast Asia. Iris says, I'm normally not up right now, so I'm glad I was able to catch this lovely stream. It's nice to have you here, Iris. Fluffy says, I'm British myself. Okay. Lion says, I used to do VR chat photography mostly for people. I wouldn't say that I'm so good at that. I learned to be flexible and creative, and it burnt my brain multiple times. By the way, always cool to hear about other photographers and people who are just taking photos. Being a photographer is a great lifestyle. I just see fancy shots and I click the shutter button on my camera. Gebus, do you want to know something sad? Asked Wafi. I exercise my right to say no. Salt says, I'm in Idaho. Idaho. How do you pronounce it? It sucks here. How does it suck there? Whenever you say it sucks, or somebody from the state says it sucks, it's two things. It's either the ghetto because of terrible neighbors, or two, they're out in the boonies. It's nothing but like farmland, grasses, and whatnot. Miku says, I still hope it's gonna be back to my evening. Your stream being my last station before the EPs. Did you perchance just wake up? Fluffy says, I do some photography with a camera, but I'm no photographer. Same here. Well, good morning, Miko. Hello, mistakes. Around the world stream. You know, I've been considering, because I'm an avid motorcycler, chat. One of the ideas that was passing through my head was buying a GoPro or an Instagram 360 and then documenting my travels, but motovloggers are a dime a dozen here. Might as well just stick to what I'm doing. Hi there, crazy kinks. Oh, so you haven't been here for the past 3 weeks, I see. Yes. Alarmy Bro says, the first stream of yours I saw was on TikTok. Huh. What was I wearing back then? Where was I? Hi, Gib. Glad I could finally catch you live. I've been binging your VoDs as of late, and I'm loving your style. People actually watch my VODs. My YouTube is very much dead. I'm like, but I still maintain it. I still post all of my post stream stuff there, and yeah. But I'm glad to know there are actually people who tune into my VODs. Mhm. You were in a bar, right? Nova B stream. Do you know something funny? What you're looking at isn't a Nova Beast, chat. I may look like a Nova Beast, but I'm not one. You're in a bar with Vesper. Hmm, I see. I was wondering about that. Can you guess what species I am? No, not an ash beast. There's no biggest clue. There's no beast term in the species name. Hi there, Mike. Well, Crazy Cakes, you getting a job is actually a good thing, so don't feel bad. Geb, you should do another POV camera like last stream. Maybe later. A dragon. That's a little bit broad, but I do fall under that umbrella, yes. Be right back. Go ahead. If you're wondering why I'm like looking straight and up, that's where my all your chat messages are showing and the camera's like actually here. Yes. Anthropomorph. Sam says, does your OC have anything related with yourself? I mean, something that both have the same things. Mannerisms. You know, here's the thing, chat. I'm actually not playing a character. The only really different thing between me and my OC, my what you're seeing right now, my persona, would be the appearance. IRL, I have really long hair, chat, past my shoulder blades. Your voice sounds so familiar. Hmm. Gem, does more information exist regards to the karaoke, which we still want to do? I don't know, Wolfie. I thought you fell off the face of the earth. I'm surprised you're here, of all times. Yes, I actually have really long hair. Similarities. I wear all black. If you look at me, you'll immediately think I'm a metalhead. Because people keep on asking, hey, what band do you play at? Like, I don't. So here, I'm clad in a black fitted shirt, long cargo pants, motorcycling boots all the time because I injured my foot once and I swore I will not wear regular shoes again. And I have, yeah, black shirt, black pants, black boots that's like up above my ankle, and long hair. And I have glasses that automatically turns black under the sun. That's me. And I have a big motorcycle. Thanks, Mackie. I believe you're a wolf dragon. Close. Some say I'm a cat dragon. Some say I'm a fox dragon. Some say I'm a wolf dragon. I leave it to you guys. Mm-mm. All I know is I'm Geb. Hi there, Matthew. Nice to see you. Did you sleep well? Mhm. I have glasses like that too. The photochromatic lenses, was it? Transition glasses. Yeah. Good afternoon, Shopao. Yeah, late stream. I slept through my alarms. What can we do? It happens. By the way, big update in the room. I now have sunlight going through. When I was cleaning one of my walls, some of the paint came off, and lo and behold, what was painted over was these little blocks of glass. So I can actually tell if it's day or night now. It was a most strange feeling. Also made me, well, feel very melancholic. Am I the only one who starts to feel a bit sad and lonely whenever the sun starts to set? It's as if a nice, fantastic day is about to end. I'm fine with mornings. I'm fine with noon. And I'm most excellently fine with evenings. But that small period where it's golden hour. Hmm. Oh, if it isn't the lovely potato Foxy. Magandang hapon. Yes, I don't have windows. I actually cannot still see the outside. The glass panel that I told you is like it's this thick. It's a cube of glass. And it's like translucent. What Matthew said. I am a Volper, genetically modified with. Why am I describing it? I'm a mix, chat. I'm a mix of two things biologically. Plus one aesthetically, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I should just consider it as three. Essentially, I'm a chimera, chat. Because this isn't a Volper body that I have. Strange as that may sound. What? Of course, the Puss in Boots comment. As you can see, I have the big old Volper tail. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. See you, Miku. Have a great day. Brzari. Hi. Ooh, can I see the new tail? I don't know if my tail will cooperate with me. It's nice, long, and fluffy, as you can see. It's yes. It's thin by the hips and then it gets larger by the middle and it thins out again. Oh yeah. What's this? Oosh. Upsy daisy. Ah, I like the vibes. You have a nice appy too. Thanks. I'm glad you do. Wolfie, it's 7 a.m. Did you sleep? Asked Matthew. I don't know. I am curious as well. It's cute, thanks. You and Yummy Man are matching. Yes, yes, we do, don't we? I am considering opening the community meetups again. I need to recruit more friends. Who knows? My reticent nut says, "Hello, figured I'd pop in for a moment as I missed your last stream. Can't stay long cause I'm on my way to work. But how are things going?" Pretty okay. Thanks for asking. I sent a friend via our chat last stream. Did you? West Pro. Hmm. Your ears are big and fluffy, and I like that. Fluffy. Floppy. Pronounce the P's, Gab. I'm feeling a bit parched, chat. Maybe I should drink. One moment, please. Where is my. There we go. Mango juice. The undying mango juice. I think the community meetup would be a cool idea. Just gotta be cautious of more people. One, no minors allowed. Oh, only verified 18 plus may attend. Probably gonna be a hard rule I'm gonna enforce. When will you hold it? Let me go record some stuff this weekend. And for chance I can get it up by Sunday. A day when most of the people here are free. I'm going to find a Discord server that has all minors in it and invite them to your stream. I hope that is a typo. Dead. Is it a typo? Clarify that. Senor Alex says, Muy buenos dias, Mr. Gabas. How's your night going? I just came by. A good friend of mine. Doing okay. So how usual do you start streaming though? I make it a point to stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Gotta go work in 20 minutes. I don't want to go, but I have to. Never seen you so early, Gab. Wow. Good luck at work, Matthew. I appreciate you dropping by streams and saying hello. It matters a lot. If you call yourself my friend. I'm just joking, Chan. I was sounding parasocial just then. Hi, Gebos. I've seen your Instagram and liked your clips. How are you today? Says the really big firehawk. Shouldn't you just call yourself a phoenix at this point? I'm doing okay. I got the rest I needed, which is definitely more than 8 hours, and I had some breakfast before starting stream. So we got the energy, and yeah. And also we got 10k likes. Hey, congrats. Thanks, Chan. To those of you who are like joining me on from Instagram, welcome. As you can tell, my Instagram and TikTok content is actually all just clips lifted from my streams. I'll see you around, Matthew. Bye. Viserion says, Hi, Gab. New schedule. Think of today as me trying out a new time slot. Yeah. I know. I should be live at way earlier. But here we are. Brunch combined with breakfast and lunch, which saved one meal for a day. Yes. I'm in advanced 3D animation, says Shopao. Ah. Good luck. Did that a lot though. Sam, actually I practice brunch a lot because not only does it save on effort, it also saves on money. Especially when you're a little tight. You can't indulge in meals as often as you want to. There's gonna be months where money isn't so good and you have to really budget things. I still eat healthy though. What's this? It's better with face to face. What is your lingo? 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 Good morning, Twitch. Or good evening if you're on the opposite end of the world. What is your slang? I don't know. You tell me, Shopa. Do I have a particular category of slang that I use? You go to bed, soldier. Wala naman, di ba? Parang wala naman. Hmm. Zara says I dropped a follow on TikTok. Definitely gonna check those later. Thanks. Man, there's one topic I want to ask chat, but I'm not sure if it's an appropriate one. It's not NSFW by any means. It's. mm, I, I really don't know if I should. Mission says it's because I can't tell if it's Spanish or something else. Ah, well, I'm from the Philippines. We were occupied by the Spanish for 300 years. They just recently left our country. By recent, I say 100 years ago. I've been doing my best to not hold back my R's from rolling anymore. I've actually trained myself to not roll them, but I'm trying to relax a bit more. I always thought it sounded weird. Feel free to ask. I wouldn't be offended even if it was a taboo topic. Well, my question to you guys is, let's say you're following a streamer for a long while now, like over half a year, closer to a year, and you've been supporting them a whole lot, right? You love their content and you eventually you befriend them, they hang out with you and whatnot. And then what would be the factors? What would make you get tired of said streamer? Like you realize that, oh, I spend my time doing other things more than just originally being there championing this person or something like that. No, no, I'm asking constructively, all right? I'm asking constructively. Uh, I'll put my input into it first. Normally, what makes me turn away from a streamer that I've been supporting a whole lot for a long time would be a design change. So, if their aesthetic that you fell in love with before suddenly changes to something different, then I understand people moving on. But you have to give me other reasons too. Is it you're simply getting bored of the content, or you just found something shinier that attracts your eye? Something like that. Repetitivity. That is surprisingly hard to pronounce, says Alexander. Finding a more entertaining or just moving on in general. It's not really your, not you in particular, but fault most of the time. Yeah, I know, I know. So that boils down to the attention span of the viewer, then, if that's the reasoning, Alexander. But then again, here's the question. If the reason was repetitivity, what made you support the streamer in the first place? So, were you donating in hopes of them doing something else? Or were you supporting because you like what they were doing? Isn't it contradictory if you like what they're doing and then you complain of repetitivity? Unless they themselves proclaim that, oh yeah, my streams are gonna be more dynamic next time. That falls under the pretense of false promises, right? Yopaw says in Tagalog, which I will translate to English. For me, if the content doesn't click with you or the personality, but most of all, if there are issues If you realize the streamer has issues, you find out that they're into PDF files and whatnot, that automatically block those people, all right? Just 100% avoid those scum. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Firehawk says, for me, typically it would be myself getting busy or not being able to watch for an extended period. Mm. And meaning, because you weren't able to watch for a while, do you feel guilty dropping by and saying hello again? Is that what's going on? Spaghetti says that's an interesting question. Yeah, it is. Reed says, I support because I like what the streamer does. Change is inevitable. Depends if you change with them. For me, I don't think it's really gonna be about change in my content. It's gonna be about improvement. I'm still doing the same thing I did last year, just with better backgrounds and more dynamic shots, model improvements, tracking improvements. Hi, Neon. Good morning. Are you gonna sing again today? Sora says, some watchers just like to be in the community. For example, if the streamer is really popular. One new streamer I like watching include people and they're funny, so it's like they are just like him. The crowd. All right. What's this? VR Zari says, some people don't like improvement, believe it or not. I have seen people complain about good chances in streams. Good chances. Like newer and better overlays. That's the funny thing, chat. Aside from TikTok, because TikTok loves clutter, my Twitch, do you see a single overlay on my screen? It's nice and clean, right? Full point. Hi, laro tayo. What's this? Rude. We have detected inactivity. Which of these objects have fins? That, that. No, that's an airplane. And confirm. Thanks, TikTok. Wow. Now, where were we? I'll see you around, Reed. Thanks for dropping by. What's it? Alexander says, you may enjoy it at first, you may just feel it gets watered down, or I follow an animation channel for their art style, but they make the same stuff. It's just boring what they're doing. So again, it's a matter of attention meaning. And I get the watered down. Like in most animes, episode 1 is where most of the budget goes, and the final episode 2. But when episode 2 and 3 starts to suck, I understand like what happened. Have you seen One Punch Man season 2? How bad it is compared to season 1. That's a good example. Firehawk continues, I wouldn't necessarily say guilt, but concurrently to myself being away from the stream, my personal interest can diverge from the streamer's contents. Completely fair. After all, we're no different from street buskers, are we? I get people getting tired of the performance. Eventually. I love your style, says Reed. Keep doing what you're doing. Yes, thanks. I don't think I'll really be changing what I'm doing. And then I see this clip being posted like 2 years later when I'm doing other things. No, I've tried streaming while playing games, for example. As fun as it is, in all honesty, I like it more when I just focus on chat. Starlight says, I actually sometimes lose interest in something I love the most for lots of years. Ah, I see. That's why I'm really thankful for the people that have like stuck around. Like truly, truly. As a streamer, if you have regulars, those people are priceless. Like if they watch more than 3 streams of yours and are happy to be there, these are the true golden elements that you should value. Lad says, not gonna lie, I've seen your lives, but now I'm getting to know you. Oh, yeah. I'm, there's not really much that I'm, what's the proper term? Holding back or hiding? I'm just like you, Chan. Neither atomic. My throat is tired, says Neon. Rest. Honey, ginger. That's what you need. Hey, Gib, have you seen Solo Leveling? I've read it. It's fantastic. I've watched a few episodes. It's fantastic. Again, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. William is asking, what was your motivation to becoming a VTuber? I need inspiration. I, hmm, I guess it's the fact that I was able to bring a design of mine into life. That's the cool part. Thank you, Starlight. Zanky Dog. Ooh, a hand heart, thanks. Goodness me. Sora sending coins. Sage sending coins. We might actually make it past 500 today, chat. How do the other TikTok streamers do it? How do they get like tens of thousands of coins per live? One trend I see is they are a glutton for punishment. They would have the pie shock collars and they would essentially allow chat to torture themselves. They turn into clowns in front of a bunch of strangers. Good money. Dignity wise, not something I would exchange. The others sell their bodies. Yes, chat. I'm not gonna elaborate on that. Others are just probably very keen with their business acumen. Laura says one says something only to one gift. You get other gifts that don't do. What? What do you mean? Selling bodies. Ooh. Thank you for the 11K likes, TikTok. Firehawk says, a lot of times I like to hop around streams rather than stick to one exclusively, and so that also makes it easier to stop watching a given streamer if I lose interest. But it also provides a chance for me to take a break and come back later. Right. Here's the weird thing, chat. I I'm asking this because I don't watch streamers. As funny and as strange as it is, I'm a content creator, but I don't watch. Aside from the clips that K-Saw makes, because he's funny and he doesn't sell out. But I don't really watch any other content creators. That's why if you go to my TikTok and whatnot, I don't really follow a lot of people, like less than 20. The most on my following list is either my IRL friends or on my Twitter, my ex is artists. I think their art is cool and I want to see more of the art. So I guess the dilemma is it's sort of like someone knowing how to cook food, but they don't really eat a lot of it themselves or something like that. Flawed analogy, but I'm getting close, I think. Alexander is asking, out of pocket, but may I ask what species the model you have on is? Take a good guess. I'll answer eventually. Come on. Chat, what species do you think I am? If you know the answer, don't say it just yet. Don't spoil it. See you, Kaden. Gmod background. You know what's funny? This is actually from Final Fantasy, as you can see. What's this? So, are you a dragon like fox? Okay, go ahead. Keep on guessing. That's one. Is it a Nova? No. You can do it, guys. What species is Gem, huh? How much time did it take to make this model? I altered this base model over the course of 2 weeks because of trial and error. A bat because of a bat. You know what? Fair, but it's not a bat. Mm-mm. Firehawk says, I think your analogy would be more clear with yourself. Be a chef and not eating any of the food from restaurants. Smart. All right, chat. I am what you call a Volper. Well, I'm one part Volper. I'm one part Hyanid. Does that mean it's appropriate to call me a Chimera? Because I'm a mix of two. Ooh, Gebus is a mix? A Volper. Volper. VULPER. A Cerberus. Name like a dog type thing. I don't think I'm a Cerberus. Do you see me with two extra heads sprouting left and right? It's interesting seeing your guesses, chat. A Pokemon. Somebody ban Neon, please. I'm just joking. Don't ban Neon. I see it in the ears. It moves like a Volpras. Yes. Did you know I actually edited the base ear animations, and most of the facial tracking blend shapes. So I guess things look a bit different. Mhm. What is your favorite food? Man, there's so many. I can't just pick one. it probably has to be Chinese cuisine though. If I were to categorize it, it definitely falls within that umbrella. It's so hard to turn down like wok fried stuff. My particular favorite in Chinese is what do you call it in English? Patatim. What is patatim in English? It's like it's like a pork stew. It's like a pork leg stew with this dark, sweet, and thick sauce. It's really nice. How much? Sorry. How much motion tracking gear does one have to buy? I spent a grand total of $230 on my trackers. I'm using slimes, Jen. I know. I'm mostly sitting, but I'm using full body tracking. But that's completely valid. Again, the subtle movements, the mannerisms, that's what matters. 230 bucks, chat. Arm trackers, chest trackers, hip, thighs, and feet. What? They expect me to move like no, chat, no. That's not me. That's another content creator. Where did the name Gebus come from, if I may ask? You see, my real name is Gabriel, and I've been called Gabe all my life. So I said, how do I put a new spin to my name? Gabe. Geb. Gebus. Gebus. An orange spiky one. Xiaopao knows. Yes, my actual name is Gabriel Chan. Or, as my mother would pronounce it, Gabriel. The arm trackers goes above your elbows. Maayong hapon, Gebos. Maraya pong tabi sa imo. Yeah. The principles of animation. Ah, yes. You see, without arm trackers, I can't do this, or I'm leaning by the railings. Like this. Can't. My elbows would just end up like that. So I'd like be brooding instead. Hmm. Oh, I am way too close to the railing. There we go. Sora says, I like the stream. It's so calming before bed. Go to bed. Come on. Oh, hello, Stu. Geb's mom. Gabriel! Saing ka na. Yep. You know how moms, when they call your first name, like your first name basis, you know you're in trouble. Like when they call you Gabe, like yes, and then it's like Gabriel. It's like yes. If you live in a Hispanic family, you know you're dead. That's it. you're screwed. Thank you, new miss. Welcome to the stream. I think in America, it's different. Instead of like, it's very common for them to refer to each other in a first name basis, like family wise. Here, that's like taboo. If you call your brother by his first name, it means you hate each other or something. There's animosity. Here, we call each other kuya, kuya, or like big bro, or little bro, like brother, or something like that. Sister, uh, grandpa, grandma. But if you call somebody by their first name, there's trouble. There's trouble. In America, it's like instead of saying John and then John and then say Mr. John Smith, what did I tell you? You live under this room. I mean this roof. I pay for it. You follow my rules. Something like that. Like the last name has to be included. Correct me if I'm wrong. I wonder how it is in like the European countries though. Hmm. If we refer to somebody with the first name basis, for example, an acquaintance or a friend, it has to be a nickname. It has to be a shorthand name, and that's perfectly okay. Or if you really have to use their actual full first name, the fully spelled version, you add the Mr. or Mrs. Like Mr. Gabriel, and that's very formal. It's either a business setting or something transactional, like in a hotel. It's not Mr. John anymore. It's more like Jonathan Lowana Smith. Oh, prepare for an ass whooping. Yep. Hi there, Athena. Surely you're not related to the charming Lucifer Morningstar, are you? Do you like McDonald's? I love McDonald's. Yeah, be at a different time. Hi there, Haynes. Listen, McDonald's, I'm not saying their entire menu is good, but if I were to spend, I would always get their sundae, their soft serve thing. I love it. I loved it since I was a kid. The chocolate fudge and vanilla. Can't go wrong with there. Brew, formulation, recipe. Maybe the McDonald's in my country is good. It's not the really like washed down or watered down version that some other countries have. If you could only save one, would it be McDonald's or Jollibee? Oh no, Jollibee has to take it. Why? Because Jollibee has a bucket of their delicious chicken joy, and man, I love fried chicken, chat. How could you say no to something golden, crispy, delicious, ready for you to sink your teeth into? Mmm. Gravy, get the rice. Yep. Oh my goodness. You know the chicken joy drumsticks from Jollibee. You see, you just look at it. It's like this is the drumsticks like rotating. You see the good ratio of skin and the glistening, shiny, tender meat that when you bite into it or break apart, there's like steam coming out of it. And there's no dry spots. Oh, yes. Chicken that's made with love, chat. Oh my god. Jollibee is in America. There's five in Texas. Great. And it's also the crunchiness. When I say the good ratio of skin and meat, so you get your drumstick, you usually dip it, like the head, into the gravy, and you're like, like, oh my god. Oh, I'm getting phantom sense from just recalling Jollibee. I know how it tastes, how it feels, how it smells. And it's making me hungry, chat. Too bad it's expensive, chat. It's like $10 for 8 pieces of chicken. I don't have extra coins at me at the moment. Yopo says, you can't watch a Geb stream without food. I hate it. I can't help it. I was homeless for a year. I was eating barely anything. So when I got money, I ate a lot of different things and I got to appreciate food. All of a sudden, I'm like, stop being picky, right? Don't take your food for granted, Chan. I haven't had breakfast yet, and that was a mistake. Go grab some food. Go eat. Starlet says the juice in its golden brown color. Yes. Athena Morningstar is sending a bunch of coins. Did you know, chat? If my daily coin goal actually reaches, I if I remember correctly, if it reaches around 5,000, I can actually buy chicken. If you want a goal post, because we've been talking about it, I'll buy chicken. If you were here, we would be having a little like lunch date party. Like, I will be generous. You each get 1 piece, and then the rest is mine. Perfect ratio. Yes, please buy chicken. I will today. If this thing moves a bit to the middle. Yeah, may malapit na siya. There's a Jollibee. It's 3 minutes walk from my place. It just newly opened. It's part of the gasoline station, and yeah. Athena, thank you. No, really, thank you. I'm not joking. There's a Jollibee 3 minutes walk. There's a Jollibee 3 minutes drive away, which is in front of a McDonald's, right next to a Pizza Hut, a Chow King, and there's Belgian waffles there. What else? There's so much food nearby. Wag mo nang isipin. What have you got the Discord server? Look here. You see that blue text? That is my Discord link. Ako na kumain lang ng century tuna. Kumain ka na maayos. Yung sa kanto. So yeah, chat, I'm hungry. Claudia, congratulations on finding the link. What does Discord do? It is a social. Is it a social media platform? It's a platform of communication. You sound so American, bro. Gebus is from the land of the US of A. What else are the other? No, you gotta sound Southern, so you sound American. How do I do this? I reckon a lot of you are surprised I'm from like Tennessee. Mm. What? Can't this furry streamer have an accent just like this? It's so bad. Where am I from? I am from the Philippines. Cyprus. I've only seen a Jollibee in the airport in Manila the day we were flying back home. Had breakfast with my sister's family, so I didn't try their food. Oh, you should try. Really. It's the chicken. That wasn't bad. Darn, I noticed you have 5 digits now. Yeah, shop out look. Take a good look. This is how the hand looks now. This, and then claws. Oh, what? Come on, come back here. Oh, I got sent some watermelon. Ooh, thank you, Athena. What a sweetheart. Judging by Athena's profile picture with my whole 20 by 20 pixel inspection, eh, they would seem like the neighbor you would like to have. So I'm just mowing my lawn one random Sunday, and then they're like, "Oh, honey, come here, come here." Yes, and then they're like gonna offer you some leftovers, and by leftovers I mean freshly baked cookies or like a bunch of fried chicken. Oh, here's a little something. A little is like 12 pieces. Yeah, that. Mhm. I can't draw you with the cute kitty like paws. Did you see the memes channel where it says Nova no longer? And did you see how my hands look? It's just like Cards the Cardi Dogs rendition. How is that leftovers? I don't know, Andreas. They probably have like the kind old grandma uh genes going on. Laura with a soaring star. Ooh, another extra 200. Ah, thank you. Neon says the demo of my visual novel is ready, by the way. Just a few tweaks and fixes. Okay. Sure, let me know how it is, and then I can do the promised playtest. I'm a hop off muna. The zonk is. See you around, Chopa. Thanks for dropping by. I hope to see you again. Your breath is so steamy. Yes, because I have a higher internal temperature compared to most. It's warm inside Geb, Jan. Yellow says, afternoon stream. Is this new or am I just not in TikTok during this time of day? They're actually dreaming. Like, this is just a scene made up in your mind. Geb is totally not streaming in the afternoon. Is it possible to change location? Yes, but I don't wanna move. I'm already comfy here. Why do you want me to move? What are your hobbies outside of streaming? Asked Firehawk. Um, Modding games more than I play them. My aquariums, I have 4 tanks. I tend to shrimp. I tend to fish. And a lot of other stuff. And my other big hobby is motorcycling. I like tinkering with my bike. I like riding my bike, watching bike reviews, and I'm currently saving up for my dream bike, the Honda Africa Twin. I wish, how, I wish I can get it. I'm gonna keep on working hard until I do. One day, Gab, one day. Mm. Each day I feel lazy to stream or just post things in social media and whatnot. I remind myself that My dreams, your dreams, everyone's dreams, I'm speaking in general, will never be achieved if you don't take steps towards it. Put in the work, chat, and you'll get what you long for. Why are some of the bees so huge in the Philippines? Asked Andreas. Because most of them are jolly. Yes. Hi there, Ryan. What is your question? Go ahead. Oh, hi, Potato. I thought you hopped off. Nice to see you. Potato Foxy is also a super duper big streamer, and you should definitely check out their content if you like seeing attractive, shapely, feminine. I'm just gonna say it straight. If you want like a himbo femboy who talks like this, hello chat. No, not like that. Then visit Potato Foxy. Potato Foxy actually showed up on my streams one time, right when I was still starting. That was, goodness me, that was more than a year ago, now that I think about it. Yeah, that's the first time we met. And then you showed up again, I think, April, May. That's when we were preparing for Ferality. You had that nice outfit. Like, it was like a dancer's outfit with like the veil. Are you going to Ferality this year? Yes. What face trackers do you use? I have like 8 Vive trackers, double sided tape to my face. That's the secret. I'm so excited for the new Ferality, says Zari. Yeah, same here. It's the Ferality. Was it Somna, right? So it's about memories and dreams. Very constellation, nighttime, bedtime, blue and purples and golds. Are you going to Ferality, Potato? Do you have a suit IRL? No, I don't. Yeah, definitely. Oh, last went. You were bored at day one. I mean, understandably so. It was a little below my expectations. It was great, but I guess what I had in mind was something mind blowing. I remember how the audio wasn't working in that weird lobby of ours. Like any avatar related audio would just wouldn't work. What is Ferality? Ah, Ferality is a yearly event hosted by the Ferality team. They will sell tickets in which you can attend a venue which hosts meetups, creator booths. Like there's gonna be various showcases of new stuff. It's like a convention. It's an online VR convention there. Hello, Zane. Man, I honestly don't know what outfit I should wear. I maybe I can ask Potato Foxy for notes on what to bring, because usually ends up with like really fancy wardrobe. Let me just hydrate, chat. Yeah, a French maid. No. Where were we? Right. Potato, are you still there? I wanted to ask, are you 100% going to buy the what's this? The big screen Beyond 2? Oh, because you have base stations, right? It will work for you. Hmm. Okay. Good luck. I hope it works. Do you know where I can buy base stations as well and like the controllers? I have no idea where to source them locally. I wanted I'm asking because I want to evaluate the costs. I'm, I'm sure it's pricey. Craft Bar sells it? Oh, that's where I got my lenses originally. Huh. Okay. Your TikTok is chaotic right now. I have no idea what's going on in my chat. You can contact them directly. Okay. Yeah, I went to Craft Bar before. I met up with the guys and their like in-house optometrist was it? It was all the way up like I think in Bulacan or something. It was far off in the north. 65 people chilling on what's this? TikTok. Redirect them to Twitch. To the 47 of you watching me on Twitch, thank you for sticking around. I'm glad you're not getting bored. That's where I bought my index kit. Ah. Magkano siya? Sorry like a ballpark figure. Magkano isang base station pati yung controller shit nila? Thank you, Alexander. You know what, Tato? One of these days, we need to hang out and just catch up. It's been a good year. Here he says, I moved here to Twitch because someone went a little crazy with the I cannot see any chat that isn't followers only. Let me see if I can like disable that. I'm curious. Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, I can only see follower messages. Because 90% of the time, non-follower messages are garbage. No way around them. Oh yeah. Huh. You know what? Give me 1 minute to scroll up. I'm so curious. Oh, okay, fine. There, I've enabled non-follower chat. Whew, here we go. Thank you, Daph. The controller in Craft Bar is 31K. So controllers they don't go around with the base stations. What avatar is this? This is a chimera, not a Nova Beast. It's a mix of two species. I'm a mongrel, chat. Oh my, oh my. Oh gosh, ad says Katsui. My Ganig. Oh, how do I read you? I call you Mai. Mai says you're pretty unique in the way you relate. It's really interesting. What do you mean? Like little stories I share? You need base stations with the control. So 31K, that's $600. And there's no base stations with it. What? Oh my goodness, that's expensive. Firehawk says, I like how calm your streams are. A nice change of pace from other more fast paced streams. It's especially nice now as I'm getting ready to sleep. Yes. Thanks. See you around, Neon. And I'll see you around, Firehawk. Thanks for being a joy today. I'll see you next time. One base station in Craft Bar is $400 for one base station. I know a base station is like 150. Like, wow. Okay, maybe Big Bass from Craft Bar. Oh, man. Phew, that's expensive. Mm-mm. I'm just procrastinating from driving 789 kilometers. Funny enough, 3 weeks ago, I drove 700 kilometers. No, 730 kilometers on a motorcycle. So you got this. Edie says I got super lucky that someone was kind enough to upgrade me at the start of the year. Congratulations to the people that have sponsors or are being taken care of sorry, we call them glucose guardians. Yes. Why do you sound like you are from Morocco? Morocco? On a motorcycle? Yes, Claude. On a motorcycle. I ride motorcycles. Thank you, Glucose Guardians, for being so generous. Don't forget that, chat. What motorcycle do you have? I have a Kawasaki Versys 1000 SE. It's probably the most comfortable bike I've ever used. Erie says, I just made a good friend and he got me three Vive 3.0s and three two. You got 6 base stations and an Kiri, look at me. Just a friend. Sure. Okay, if you say so. Okay. Can you introduce me to that friend? I need base stations too. Yeah, I have somebody on Twitch saying they got sponsored 6 base stations from just a friend. Here he got some sugar money. Runs a sugar plantation, that's what. Just a friend, Nas as blue and all right. Chimera. Yeah, I'm a chimera, chat. I'm a mix of stuff. 3 trackers, 3 base stations, and he got the valve. Oh, I can already see the pants on the floor. What is your sauna based on? Asked Casper. Based on? Based on me? Good night, Sora. Thank you so much for the coins. I appreciate it. No, super. Be back. Hanggang best friend lang, hindi best friend yun. May halong subo yun, promise. may, may kapalit yun, 100%. What's this? What? Says Claudiva. Imagine all of that from just a good friend. Just a good friend. Yes, the one you would Netflix and chill with. Hi there, Marcel. I'm a mint chip chimera. Mint chip. I'm so. Oh. So, they're a friend that was very beneficial. So, I think there's a term for that. Friends with. Hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hmm. Allies. They're called allies as anonymous. Yep. Thank you, Marcel. Franz is asking, this is his avatar, which is really his. What? It's me, chat. Partners in crime. Partners in the movies, in the sofa. Okay, so maybe there's extracurriculars involved. Right? You see, you were given trackers, base stations. I am bound by the limitations of my streaming platform's TOS chat. I cannot further the discussion. Hmm. What is a base station? A base station is an apparatus that is required in order to track lighthouse based trackers, like controllers and Vive trackers, or headsets that are not self tracking. Why, if it isn't Athena Morningstar? Now with the different profile picture, is it because I called it out earlier? I'm curious. You have like 8 pixels worth of detail. Now I see you with. Was that like lavender hair? Oh crap, I opened the link. John. Oh yeah, there we go. Nice white jacket, skirt, and I don't know what color that is. I might be colorblind. It looks like purple pink. Thanks, Athena. What's this? Coming back to your very interesting discussion. Hi, Jay. Hirokun. Yeah, Chimera Bleachy. Andrea says, well, I'm gonna hit the road. I love the vibe here. Definitely will be back next time. Have a lovely day. You have a lovely day too. See you around. Good luck with the drive. Try to listen to something that will keep you awake. Like my stream. $2,200 worth of stuff. Wow. In exchange for 69 positive favors and well wishes. Precisely. I'm here because I missed your voice. I've never left Hirokun. I've always just been streaming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The verification on the did you figure it out, Claudiva? There are some people who figure it out within 5 seconds. There are others who 2 weeks has passed and they're still stuck. Don't think too hard on it. The answer is literally written there. You just have to type it exactly as how it appears. Not edit a message, it has to be a new message. That's my clue. Don't be sorry. If anything, consider it a win, Kiri. Western dragon fruit. I am. Oh, hi. My goodness. Imagine. All you gotta do is just enjoy some time in the sofa, you alone with your benefactor, your friend, and then you're gonna be given $2,000 worth of VR stuff. Wow. Netflix and chill. Seems like a reasonable trade. Erie's glucose guardian. I can see it in my head. Yep. Nice dim lights, enjoying a movie together. Pinky starting to touch, elbows rubbing. Much more after. Mm, Let me say thank you in my own special way. I shall express my gratitude through not only words, but through actions. What's this? Blue Jay says, I've got a drive ahead of me tomorrow. Have a good night. Good night, Blue Jay. Thanks for hanging out. Firehog is asking, if I may, what are the specifications of your computer? Oh my god, they ask politely. Now I cannot not answer. All right, here's the truth of my setup, chat. I am running an Intel Sempron, a 1050 Ti, 8 gig of RAM, and I'm running on an old 5400 RPM Toshiba 2.5 drive. It's around 320 gig. Why not show your face? Because I'm relaxed at the moment. You just want me to do. There. Good night, Blood Fiend. How to travel back in time. You know, they say when you take a nap, you travel in time to the future, right? So all you gotta do is reverse that. Instead of a nap to your head, it's a pan to your head. And then you go back to the past. Shh, 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 shh. Don't overthink it. But that's how it's done. Totally. Yeah, that's insane optimization for a stream this high quality, right? Actually, I'm just joking, Firehawk. I'm a sucker for people who ask nicely because they practice common courtesy. The biggest jump in performance I had was moving from my 7800 X3D to a 9950 X3D. The extra cores, the faster clocks, just just smoothened out every hiccup I had in VR chat. I used to run worlds at 45 FPS back then, 40. Now it's at a smooth 90. It's that big of a jump. Hi there, Bart boss. See you, Stefano. Uppercase and lowercase matter. Erie says, literally unalive now. Shh, don't. Your sugar guardian's gonna miss you. And yet you have this level of streaming quality. What did I do wrong? Chat, there's nothing fancy with what I'm doing. See? Look at that. Boring old static background, amateur-ish framing, totally uncinematic lighting, undynamic camera changes, clipping. If I can fix that there. Yeah. What kind of race is the other part of your Nova Beast Chimera? One, I'm not a Nova Beast anymore. The only keepsake I have from my Nova Beast persona is my goggles over here. And maybe the cheeks and the brows, but they only look similar. But in actuality, chat, I'm part Vulper and part Hyanid. Eerie says, I'm over here like RTX 2060, Ryzen 7700X, 64 gigs of RAM. And I'm dying for this stream time. You know the weakest link in your setup? I'm not dissing you. I'm giving you constructive advice. It's your processor. You're running a very old bulldozer build, if I'm not mistaken. That's old. You gotta get the 5800 X3D. It's a big jump from what you're using, and it's cheap too. Yeah, your CPU, 100%. VR chat is very CPU bound in a lot of instances. Yeah, 5800 X3D, they're very cheap on the secondhand market. I swear it's a tremendous upgrade to your setup. Maybe you can invite your benefactor for more movie time, and then you can get something expensive like a 7800 3D. Should be easy access. It would be nothing but a simple matter for you. I don't know what this is and why I scrolled on it, but this seems chill, says Spoon. Hi there. He's already getting me. He bought you trackers, base stations, and VR, and now he's buying you air condi. Okay, I see what this is. Oh my goodness. What's next? The bed. There you go. The bed, chat. That's the missing link. Bed, and then, ooh. You should do voice acting, says Blueberry. You sound amazing. I. Um, voice acting. Do I have range? Mm, not really, but I appreciate the compliment all the same. Ah, Koalemo says the AC is there because the sessions got too hot. Gotta cool them down. Precisely. Yeah, that's what it is. Alarmy Bro says, can I please get the next stream schedule? I have to go. If you join my Discord, there's a channel called Stream Pings, so you'll know whenever I'm live. You'll probably see me on a Sunday your time. Or if you're in Asia like me, Monday morning. I usually take my weekends as my break day, chat. All work and no play makes Gib a dull boy. Applies to you too. Yeah, you're probably gonna need a new motherboard though. As I've said, easy peasy for Kiri over here. Kiri here just has to swallow a bit of gratitude and the blessings will be coming all the way smoothly. New build assembly required, maybe not, but definitely an upgrade. Mm, do what you need to do. Thank you, Neon Sky. I see your comment, Eastern Dragon Throne. I need a friend like that too. Imagine. Oh no. What will I ever do? My 50-90 dreams will never come to reality. And it's like, I got you. Now you sit your pretty butt there and wait for me to come home, okay? Yes. It's not an expensive upgrade. Thank you, Leb Leb. Oh my. Oh, my arm trackers have been moving. Hold on. Aligning. There. Man, I was super low. What's this? Kiri says, well, that took me no time at all to figure out the way into the survey. Look at you worming your way into places just like that. Mmm. Just like your benefactor's pockets. You truly must be blessed with some form of special charm or allure. What's this? Hirokun, thank you for the coins, by the way. Nick with the fire and Linhu with the staff. His voice reminds you of Artyom. Does Artyom even talk? No, it's the other rangers that talk. Artyom, I need you to patrol in front of the train. Oh man, I miss Metro now. In the loading. Oh, right, he does, doesn't he? Goes dung dung dung. The Nosalises are creatures that lurk in the dark. No ranger or metro dweller needs to underestimate their presence. Always travel with a loaded weapon, lest you disappear into the night. Metro. One of the best games, in my opinion. What's this? I want you to say the Puss in Boots line. You know what's funny? I haven't watched any of the Puss in Boots movies. I've watched all the Shrek movies. I love Puss in Boots there. But the solo, I have yet to actually indulge in the cinematics that he is a protagonist of. Walimos says, hey, Kiri, is your friend looking for more friends? Don't forget my name. I need base stations too. I realize I overuse that funny face a lot. What do you call that even? Why are the top end Ryzen CPUs 100 for 50% the price of the previous generation? Ah, yes, because the newest and latest will always have a really dumb markup thanks to the scalpers and whatnot. But even then, eh, I think of it as the cat face. I think the term is called nyoron, that emoji. Eastern Dragon Fruit says, my brother. Oh, Western Dragon Fruit or Dragon Fruit said he met you and you banned. Oh, there is one Dragon Fruit I know. He used to be called something else in VR chat. Is he Korean? Because he was a friend of mine. I have no reason to ban him. If you DM me the account and confirm what I just said, I will finish. No, finish. Rectify this mistake. It's probably because of a different streaming schedule. Loving the background music. And also, thank you, Zachary. Rag. I have a problem. I'm oblivious. Oh, if I could just puff one of my cheeks. Uh, Never mind. Don't think too much on what I just said. I gave him emotional support, says Kiri. Under the desk support, says Ko. Hey, somebody's got to under those desks, Hard to reach. How do you say your name? Gebos. Ge? Boss. 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 Gebos. How pricey is your mocap? My trackers are 230 bucks. What's this? Nagra-rides ka pa rin, Kuya Gim? Oo naman. 3 weeks ago, I went to Zambales, somewhere far north. It was a 5-hour drive. Where are you from? I'm from the Philippines. Man, I'm getting hungry. Ooh. Yes, hungry. Now, who is lurking in my Twitch? Time to call out names. So it says there's 42 lovely individuals here. There's Bobby Black, Cascadian Maverick, Chrysians, a loaf of bread. Alexander's already here. Idol Mio, Kaiko the Blip, a lion, Kenda. Yep, Koalimos is here. Ludicrous Seal, I don't know. Megan, Maigani, Amai, right? Viridian, Nay Nay Parfait. Nay Nay Parfait. That's a catchy name. Persona Leon. Possum on a skateboard. I'd see that. Wolfie is apparently still skulking around. Hi, Wolfie. Raudriel, Firehawk, Reed Nisa, Rev Wolf, Rose Star, Samot, Doratin, Vincent Hayes, VR Zari, and a whole lot of other people. Chat, if you're lurking and you're feeling shy, now is the time to chat. I know when you need prompts if you're embarrassed. How do I like how do I insert myself in a timely, not rude manner in somebody's stream? Especially if they're midstream and there's I'm new. Well, now's the chance. Hi there, new people. Don't be shy. Come say hello. Tell me where you're from. I always find it interesting whenever I find out that my crowd is actually a very, very diversified selection. From Europe, from Ireland, Heck, I even had one from, what's it, Kuala Lumpur, was it? And then there's from the US of A, from Mexico, from Brazil. I'm not shy when it comes to you, potato. You're still here. Okay. Oh, from Japan. Okay. Send me a message, Eastern Dragon. I need to take care of your brother that got banned apparently. Blueberries from the US of A. Potato here sounds like he grew up in two things: a rich household, or a foreign one, or maybe both. Potato Fox is the type of friend that will ask you out to hang out with him, like on an outing, going to the beach, and then he'll also like slap your hand away when you're about to reach for your wallet because no, 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 I'll pay for it. It's just petty cash, pocket change. Yes, yes, that's Potato Foxy. Ay, kunwari ka pa. Ako na magbabayan. Yeah. Mm, what's this? Stop. I feel so bad when others pay for. I same here. Same here. Cool. I'll see you around, gal. Quite a few Americans. Okay, hold on. Let's go back here. Um, so Gebus asked Kiri, how do you feel about an old roommate of mine mixing rice with strawberry jam and jelly? That's delicious. We actually have treats like those being sold here in the streets. Predominantly rice-based products. Some with like sweet and coconut jam. Cascadia. Cascadia sounds like a fantastic place in Warhammer. Like Cadia. But Cascade? Okay, fuck. Never mind. Sounds cool. Have you ever played an instrument? I used to tot around a small Hochner microphone. No. What do you call it? Oh man, harmonica. Yeah, not anymore. No. There's- What's this? Walang KKB pagdating sa akin. So, dapat pala mag-ano tayo, like, spiral. Bukas pa ba spiral? Little Tokyo kain tayo. Ay, there's lots of good places here. Where are you from again, Tato? I'm here in Makati. I don't remember if you're close by. Loaf of bread says, that used to be me with my friends back when I was still working. I see. What's this? Nene Parfait says, hi, California, USA. How do I get a friend that will give me base stations? Bad life advice. Ba- Bad life advice? Simple. If your friend, the targeted friend, for example, is straight, keenly straight, has a girlfriend but not married, but lots of money, to distract them from like paying for their wedding, you show up one time under the pretense of playing Halo, but you go there wearing one of those tight fitting latex pony like BDSM garbs. 100% they're gonna give you money. Yep. Bad life advice. Indeed, bad advice. Precisely. Yeah, Makati. Pampanga. Ang layo pala. You're in the north. What's this? Kiri says, I'm in America. It's an atrocity. Ki- Koala says, Kiri may not have no grown in a rich household, but they are about to be in a rich home with their friend. By the sounds of it. Kiri's just shy about the situation, Jim. Oh, just like making a deal with a loan shark. You don't pay with cash. You pay with something else. Yes. For context, TikTok, I have a chatter here named Kitty, and they were given very expensive gear by a friend, and all Kiri had to do was just Netflix and chill. Now Kiri here needs more stuff again. And I said, that's just like a walk in the park for you at this point. You know what to do. Latex and Halo it is, precisely. That's the secret. Oh, why Vincent Oni, how are you? Are you still with the guy? Oh no, you broke up because it was difficult, right? Or was it another chatter? Something about physical touch being their love language or something. Ah, it rains a lot in Cascadia, says Maverick. But God, is it beautiful here. Firehawk says, 20 bucks is 20 bucks. Or something. Precisely. Can't go wrong with money. On money is money, chat. Me and my Filipino boyfriend broke up ages ago, but I got a new one. Oh, wow. Like a warranty claim. 4 months ago, and we have been amazing. Okay, congratulations. Why, President Avali Nanashi. Hi. Lamau situationship. Well, in this modern day and age, such things shouldn't be strange any longer. In all honesty. I mean, think about it. Yeah. Yep. Just like the age of the prospecting in America, those diggers that mine up gold. Mhm. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Bros got money, so it's a bonus for sure, says Oni. Ah, okay. Sure. Well, whatever you say, Oni. What is this psychological support channel? Ah, yes. You, chatter, who's troubled. There's not much I can do to help you. You're screwed. you know, Kiri says, whoa, I'm not that way. I don't dig nothing. The only thing that Kiri is doing is pumping that oil jack, and then all of a sudden, oil money comes out. Yep. Prospect for oil chat. That's a secret to fortune. Nice view, right? Isn't it nice? Itsune Fox says, first time able to catch you streaming since finding you on YouTube of all places, my dead channel. White gold. White? Since when did oil become white? Oh, you're talking about the petroleum jelly. That's what you mean. The thick substance. Yeah. Hmm. How come you don't post on YouTube? Because YouTube's algorithm sucks. I would post more. But I get like what, 30 views per video there? It's so bad. Super bad. So yeah. Why am I so far from the yeah. There we go. Whew. Hold on. Yep. On camera. That look. Oh yeah, that's just Gabos on the railings. Why am I still awake? It's already 3 a.m., says Kiri. Oh, because you gotta tend to the pump jacks. Gotta keep the gold flowing. Hi there, idiot. Your Minecraft pixel art is looking great, thanks. What's this? We're just love. I mean, they're called pump jacks for a reason. It's weird, right? So you have like the counterweight on one end, like, and then it's like, yeah, precisely. Here says my first time in the stream already being bashed on by the streamer in the chat. What a great first day. Welcome to my stream, chat. If you bring up something interesting, I will tease you about it. Hi there, designer panda. Good night, Firehawk. Thanks for hanging around. I guess a stream, yeah? My goodness. Whoa, it's a lot of people. Hi, chat. What time is it? Ah, it was nice to run into your stream. See you around, Blueberry. Anybody who hangs around my stream more than 5 minutes, I commend you. Thank you. Patience of a saint. Hmm. If you could travel anywhere, where would you go? Right now? Probably visit a little place at Illinois. I want to say hello to Vesper. Kiri says I should probably sleep, but I'm having lots of fun right now. My gosh, just come back when you're done. Yeesh. Kenny says, as much as I want to stay, I must go. Love your avatar. It's really adorable. Love the music and good night. Good night. Thanks for dropping by. Whew, okay, let's read more chat. Where is she? She is usually with you. Vesper is currently asleep. It's a small one, so it's easily covetable if anything happens. Oni says I got the guy's name. I'm dating tattooed on my ankle 2 months into the relationship. Mm-mm. Ooh. I don't, mm-mm. Whoa. I rotated. Hello. I really need to fix my GoGo logo. There we go. Lock place. Okay. What's this? Hi there, Kakash, Bakugo, Plowman. I found you on TikTok, said Shame me. What? Shame? Okay. Shay seems easier to pronounce. Shay. Welcome. Awesome says, Hi, I'm new to your stream, but your voice sounds so smooth, like jazz as a person. Jazz as a person. That is one of the nicest compliments I've ever heard. Both kind and creative. Adorably squishy. Alexander says, I'm about to draw this man again. He brings me much joy to listen to. I always love seeing art you guys make of me. It's honestly flattering. It's both flattering and motivating. Lucy says, Great stream, I'm new. I'd love to stay, but I have to go. Happy to have found you. It was very chill. I'll see you next time, Lucy. Monday. Be there. Monday or Sunday. It's either Sunday evening or Monday morning, depending on where you are. Geb, my ex-roommate burnt water, so he has unlocks the creation of steam. I see. Shay. Alright, Shay. Walemos says, I don't think I would do that even if I am in a committed marriage. I am guaranteed to have a wife that will say, yeah, do it, get the money so we have more money. Never ever be with a person who's jealous over every little thing, chat. Best advice I can give you. So much trouble down the road. All my friends have that as an archetype and they just sort of live with it. It's Thank goodness the people I have been with and I am with, uh, they are beyond these petty things. They don't get jealous over. They're not insecure there. Tell me, 14 years later. Mm-mm. If you're stuck in one, good luck, buddy. Ludicrous Seal says, I appreciate the company this stream has given me while I write my CV. Good luck. Oh my goodness, the camera quality got higher. Chat, I'm just like leaning. That's why. Normally you see me like this, but I'm I am leaning against my table. If you want to see what I look like, I'm currently oh wow, I'm inside the railings. Back a bit. There we go. Upsy daisy. So yeah, I'm I'm overlooking that view. Why do I look like I'm Dr. Alexander says, not in a weird way, but I'm drawing you right now. That close up is very much helping me. All right, fine. Let's put it back here. Angle you like so much. This stream is somehow more relaxing at 9 a.m. than it is at 9 p.m. Who would have guessed? What's this? I love the expressiveness of your avatar. Thanks. See you, Eastern. I'm good, Rhea. Roya? Um, I don't know how to read your name properly. Probably because it's mostly Americans on your stream. It says Royal. There we go, Royal. And at 9 a.m. for you, it's late at night for us. Precisely. I'm surprised there's actually a lot of viewers during this time. I might just stream at this hour. It is convenient. How about I switch it up? On Mondays, I stream at 2:30 a.m. On Wednesday, I stream at 6:30 a.m. On Fridays, I stream at like 10:30 a.m. my time. So everybody gets a chance to watch. Those of you that, well, want to watch. You do want to watch, right? We all want to watch, just nobody. Thank you. What's this? Can I zoom out a teeny tiny bit? There we go. It's Hacking David wants to join. I haven't seen this guy in over a year. Wow. But unfortunately, I'm streaming, so I should sleep now, says Cascadian Maverick. You probably should. Thanks, Alex Winter. Man, I envy people with like Winter or like cool surnames. Winter, Chamberlain, or I don't know, Bullet. Cha, you guys sound so epic. Like you have the names of heroes. Winter. Jon Snow. Hmm? Snow works. Ah, is that why? Stabilize. There we go. I did not notice my arm trackers ever so slowly slinking out of my my arms as time goes by. Wait, let me just bite it and then tighten it up. One more. There we go. Must have looked weird. Sorry, chat. And then a lot quick. There we are. I don't get why I'm floating. I was looking right earlier. Jam. How is your tracking so smooth? Smooth? Can I like put my feet on the bars? Oh! Nope, I'm gonna fall. Fuck. Though, I guess because I'm running the game at 60. Well, how many? Above 60 FPS. That's for sure. Ah, yes, Kirito. Gatsui isn't cool. It is. Oh my good. What? You like seeing this too, chat? Don't tell me you're here in stream just for this. I'm gonna get you. So, immediately after I put both my legs up for my beanies to be on full display, Kiri is off to get some juice. All right. Enjoy. Yandra's asking, what time is it? It's currently 3:29 p.m. No, Seal. You start something, you finish it. Keep on working on that CV of yours. Kiri's like, shh, while like skulking over to like a quiet corner. Maximize the display. Mm, lock the doors. Idiot says, the Americans are suffering at 3:29. How is someone always 6 hours before me or 6 hours ahead? Time zones. Erie says, high C orange, anyone? Anyone else a little too happy with the taste? I'm gonna repeat and reread that. Anyone else happy? Too happy with the taste? I can share some of my high C with you. Wow. What's the name? I can't read. Le House. House. I call you House. You know, I'm starting to get too comfortable with this. I'll be streaming like this from now on. I have to go, says Oni. I'm going to have breakfast. Hope you have a great stream and hope everyone has a great day. You too, Oni. It's nice seeing you again. Gosh, can you believe it's been more than 4 months? How time quickly passes by. I'm gonna hide with my juice now. There's no use hiding. I'm sure we're well aware of what happens in the shadows, Kiri. Oh, inadvertent close up. Hi, chat. Like my teeth? Jump scared. What is that avatar? You mean the base? This is actually my own kit bash. I'm a chimera, a mix between a Volper and a Hyanid. Thank you, nobody. Gosh, oh gosh, when you look at the time, it's already 2:38. I mean, 2 hours and 38 minutes since I started. But there is a lot of you, surprisingly a lot, which I'm super thankful for. I am going to extend stream. Oh, the sound of money the moment I said extend stream. I mean, support. The loving gesture of support. Thank you, Koa Lemos. Yeah. Seal says, I saw a bunch of your older clips and the new model is really such an upgrade. It looks so much more slick. I think it embodies my persona better. My Nova Beast, though, it it has a like an aura, like a more mature vibe to it. It he seemed much more downtrodden in life, if you know what I mean. This one is just more chipper. Thank you, Raiden. How long are you planning to stream? You know what? I streamed for 4 hours last stream. I That's not hard to do again. It depends on the crowd. If a lot of nice chatters stick around, and I don't mind extending. Dynamic streaming time. I'm in no rush today. Kiri says I need to get some sleep. I work today, pharmacy tech, and I'm exhausted after that and my extracurriculars and my hold on. And my extracurriculars. Everyone have a good night. Okay. Recuperate. Come on, you are still needed for things, Kiri. I'll definitely see you at my next stream. Maybe snag a golden egg or two and toss it my way too from your friend. Oh my, of all people that wanna drop by. Hello, Anya. Burritos. 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 That's funny. That- yeah. Oh, that looks a bit weird, so I'm fixing my trackers. There we go. Put my trackers right up when I'm just sitting down. Bye, Kiri. See you around. To be fair, it's been a while since I've had this much fun in stream. It's been a while. Oh, it's because I was sitting here before. There we go. What's that? I'm probably gonna watch the whole stream because I won't be able to for ages. Being busy starts again soon. All right. Chat. If and when you wanna see my past streams, if you can't make it during my current schedule, you can always go to my YouTube. My YouTube has all of my stream VoDs. It's raw, it's unedited, that's it. What you're seeing right now is also going to be uploaded there. And it's in widescreen format too. See you around, Kiri. Come on, put the phone down. You're needed. Extracurricular activities to appease a glucose guardian. Kiri has very funny looking curly hair. It's cute. All right, now where were we? Didn't you have one on Twitch? Oh, you mean the automatic VODs? Yeah, there's that. But the thing is, Twitch VODs automatically get deleted in 14 days. Here, though, if I post it on YouTube, it's gonna be there forever. Looks like your view is over an oil refinery. Who needs nature anyway? Yeah, look at all that vast industrialization going on. Your voice is making me sleepy. Good night. You stream on Twitch? Yes, I do. Hello, Ren. Welcome to Twitch. It's nicer here. The view is wider. This was worth re-downloading Twitch. Yes. Tito Gib. Tito Gib. Making me sound so old. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. My posture, I look like one of those uncles just sitting by his porch. Oh no. Uncle on the porch stream. Is that what I am, chat? God damn it. We didn't have any wagers today, huh? I'll consider the wager system in hibernation. Yeah. Oh well. That me clipping into the. There we go. Uncle Gibbous, no relations. Precisely. I am a genetic dead end, chat. I'm not gonna have kids. Well, well, well. Look who we have here. If it isn't Mr. Mechatronic Dragon. What are you staring at? Do you see that guy over there? Yeah. So we're gonna be joined by another Uncle Class streamer too, Mechatronic Dragon. Hi there, get yourself comfortable.
What? oh, you're streaming. Hello.
Hi, yeah. They were calling me a uncle sitting on his front porch streamer, and I said, you know what? You're not incorrect.
Oh my gosh! All right. So what are we doing? We're gonna sit on the porch and have a bit of a laugh over here or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hang on. I'll
been
hop over by the seat over here. Did you order anything? Let's see.
Order anything.
Well, I mean, it looks like there's a menu here. It's a bit blurry. They
Oh
forgot to
yeah,
do the,
it's back there if you really want to order.
Well,
Chat, there we go. There's
I can't
Mecha.
read it.
I'm not alone
Hi.
anymore, chat.
Sorry, I'm just trying to quickly set myself up so I can actually sit on the chair correctly and not phase through the floor. Sitting on the chair is complicated in here.
Lay space maneuvering, chat. Oh my
Correct.
goodness, that's loud. There you go.
All right. So,
So shiny.
there we go.
There
I think
you
he's
go.
gonna touch the ground. Oh well. But yes, how's it going? This is also a really cool spot.
I bet you're gonna love the industrialness of everything here.
Oh
at
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Look at that. Ah, the dragon is cute. Chrome. Chat, this is one of
You're
my
breathtaking.
closest friends, Mechatronic Dragon. He streams,
Hi.
he dances, he draws. But number one is he doesn't have a girlfriend yet, chat. Applications are currently open.
Bruh, just throwing me under the bus.
Yep.
Oh man.
So you want the nice, charming, matured
Crikey.
fruit of an Australian man. He is the guy to go to. He's good with gardening,
Crikey.
doing housework,
Oh, yeah, I was doing that
cooking.
for that.
Yep. He loves the
Repair some of
outdoors.
the walls. Oh man, they need a bit of repair. They're all painted up. Can't even see it. It's great. Also, sorry. Hi, chat. Sorry. I feel like I'm interrupting you.
No,
Sorry.
no, that's. I'm just passing the time here in Leport.
But this would be super complex to build.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeesh.
This is Midgar. This is actually a city. This is the
I thought it
slums.
looked familiar.
It's
I couldn't put my finger
Midgar
on
from
it.
Final Fantasy, see?
Oh.
Right? So that's the upper
I-
city, right? That's the reactor, the Mako reactor in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
that thing. And then
Oh,
in the
fancy.
game, this whole like pizza pie slice above us like goes down. Crashes down
Whoa.
here.
That's very ominous for you to say.
Yeah, precisely.
Oh no!
Imagine a random
Yeah,
fire
the
extinguisher
pizza
just falling upstairs and hitting you down here. Or even
That would
a
be like a
wrench.
meteorite fall.
It's just a wrench, yeah, precisely.
Hey, here, get catch! Just miss the, just like you see this tiny little wrench slowly falling,
Oh, yep.
falling.
I
No.
believe the whole city can hear it. The clanging, like it's hitting
it
stuff
would
on the way.
reverberate,
It
you're
would
right.
reverberate like crazy.
Oh, I mean,
It's an
everybody having their
infallible sound.
conversations, it would be quite loud.
Yeah, I would think that's like at least 300 meters up.
Yeah, if you look by the flight of stairs over there, I think you're close to 400.
Or four, yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's 400.
If you look at that building here, just
yeah, this one.
there's like one section that's about, let's say, 15 floors, and that can be
Uh-huh.
multiplied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 times, and it still hasn't hit the top of our pizza slice.
You know, I would run out of breath if there were no elevators. Just 5% of the way up.
Dang, you're it. Both get the halfway pass out.
Yeah, precisely.
Sheesh. That is cool.
It's
Imagine
pretty
trying to
cool,
fly an aircraft in here. That'd be a challenge too.
Right?
Though I'm sure there's enough space, so you'd be
There's
fine, but-
helicopters. There's helicopters in game.
Oh, there's
So yeah, there's
Okay.
helicopters in game.
But like trying to fly a helicopter through some of those gaps, I suppose it's enough, but
Precisely.
true.
The noise floor there would be enormous. Yeah, that precisely.
Say it looks like some robot took a bite out of that pizza slice over there.
Look, you see, those things are still like a work in progress, as you can clearly see. See, it's like missing. But yeah, this place is enormous. I remember going to the top part. It's all like developed, urban, nice homes, and all the slums are like down here.
Ooh. But the real vibes are here. Oh.
That's true. That's true. Real vibes are down here. Where in the world are you from? I am from the Philippines, chat. And he is a bona fide Australian. Where in Australia again?
Good day.
Canberra.
I may say crikey unintentionally. It's like
Um,
instinctive.
It's not. Yep. It's just part of the language.
Yeah. Looking over to the side here, those pizza slices go out quite a distance.
They do. I would expect them to be at least 2 kilometers from the central to the outer, at the least. Or a kilometer. You know what? You can Google what is the size of Midgar.
True. I mean, that's certainly a lot of calculations. Oh, what is it? Like that. Those video theories about games on that certain YouTube
Right,
channel. I see.
That's nice, Simon. So yeah,
Very cool
where do you
aesthetic.
come from, Mecca? Like you had a dance session.
Today, more just taking it easy.
Taking it easy.
And will mention quickly, make sure to be safe online as well. One family member actually almost got caught by a scam. It's been quite
Whoa.
stressful the past few days. Yes. So
It's an older folk.
take care of yourselves out there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yes, very important. Be safe out there.
Safe.
So yeah, trying to make sure everything's sorted there. Still today, even though it was all happened almost 24 hours ago. Yeah.
At least no money, no information was taken, I presume. It was an almost thing. Oh, okay.
I wish,
Okay.
but no. We're just getting it all sorted out. But yes, definitely be safe out there. And my gosh, find time to relax where you can as well. Like right here. It's great to hang out.
Here.
Though I like to think there'd be a scent of pizzas from out there. Don't you think so?
This place would definitely smell like food. Qualimo says it's roughly 64.5 miles in diameter. What?
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 This thing's not.
No. Well, I mean,
not a superstructure. It's a megastructure at that point. Holy moly!
to be fair, it is incomplete. And yeah, maybe we're just not really
Ooh.
realizing the scale of it from this distance.
True. That would take us forever to walk from one side to the other.
I would believe it if it's like 6.4 miles in diameter, but 64?
Yeah, it feels a bit more closer to that.
Yeah.
Though, if it was that big, you'd be able to meander about here for ages.
Oh yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to explore the whole structure in like my lifetime if I were just to walk.
If you had a team of us all running around, I'm sure
every
as well
day,
as all the crew in
every
chat,
day. Yes, we would.
we'd all be able to adventure around. Though, judging by the tires on that wall over there, you probably have a bike as well.
There
so
are
that'd be pretty
bikes here, really fast ones too.
I'm now just imagining a whole bunch of tricksters doing all sorts of awesome tricks, zooming off roofs and things like that on bikes and stuff. That'd be really cool, actually.
There is actually a high
very
speed bike
hazardous.
chase.
Be safe, but yes.
Yes. Biker Mommy 04. Alright. Totally not gonna generalize your name and character.
Well,
you good?
I kind of wanted to have a quick look over here, so I'll leave
Go explore. I'll just be here. Of course.
Yeah. Cry.
No, 04. Okay. Is anyone entertained watching him look around so fascinated? That is Mecca. He has played VR chat for many, many years, chat. Much more longer than I have. And it's still surprising that he still has so many sites he has not experienced. I can hear the Spanish accent. You have very sharp hearing. Seal says I gotta go. Gonna start my piano practice. Have a good one. I'll see you around, Seal. Thanks for hanging around. Qualimo says, so in a room with a 1/10,000 scale replica, I noticed that the diameter of the model is exactly 7 tiles wide. Using Cloud's walking animation and estimation of his height, I roughly determined that the tiles are 2 meters by 2 meters. Therefore, the model has a diameter of 14 meters, and by extension, Midgar has a diameter of 140 kilometers. Oh. Wow. That's huge. We are 2 minutes away from 3 hours, chat. Oh. The pangs of hunger are getting ever so stronger. I will 100% go eat after stream. Where did Mech go? Yeah, just look at Geb, look at things. Look at that view, chat. Would I want to live here? Maybe. I do believe it's the people around an area that matters more than the area itself. Your computer's not running. Oh no. Hello, James. Wow, I'd feel very lonely hanging in such a big world. Oh, Prince, no. What I mean is the lived in version of this. There's like probably millions of people here, just not in this particular instance. Obviously. Hmm. That would be nice though, having locals to chat with. Ah, yes, there's Mecca exploring the canned foods. It finally started. Congratulations. I should go to bed, but I don't want to. Chat, should I go skedaddle so you guys have a reason to go on with your lives? If you have chores to do, just just do it. You have homework, just do it. You have work stuff, just do it. Somebody's waiting for you. Don't make him wait. Go ahead. You'll see me again next time. Don't worry. Stay, says Idiot. Yep, that's Mecca looking at the tires. Hmm. There, stay definitely. But I'm having so much fun watching. Your voice is so soothing. Ren, it's see me again. Don't worry. Mm. So Anubis, thanks for the 22 coins. Appreciate it. This is called Seventh Heaven. I'm new. When do you stream? I stream 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I usually stream whatever time it is now, 12 hours earlier. That's the schedule. The biker's friend is in therapy, apparently. I see. Physical therapy. Ooh, I'm hungry. Who sent the treasure box? Thanks. I appreciate it. Hi there, MC. Chat, I'm sure you won't mind if I go drink some water, right? Time to hydrate or dihydrate. Oh man. You know what's funny? My stream timers would usually be if I need to go to the bathroom because of all the darn hydrate redeems or not. So the more you make me hydrate, the less I'm gonna stay on stream. That's the dilemma. Seventh heaven. Yes. Whew. You may notice I have a habit of holding my hands behind my head. I don't know. It's just comfortable to do. Mushes up my ears though, so sorry, chat. I can like place my ear here, place my ear there. There we go. Added to favorites. You gotta check it out later. Oh, you should. It's nice and lovely here. Ren says, very nice post. If I had time, I could definitely draw you. No pressure. Only if you want to. I'd appreciate seeing it though if you did. Oh, send it to me as a DM if you do. Where do you get all those coins? Asked Rinny. From you, chat. Each rose that you send, each coin that you help add to my daily coin goal, which we're almost at half, it gives me one extra coin. See? Coin. It has been done, Gibbs, says Alexander. Did you post something on Discord? I need to check. I'm tired. Good night. That's Kiri. Kiri post. Oh my goodness, you didn't make a introduction. It's the Jesus meme again. I'm sorry, chat. Naper. Alright, I'm gonna check that later. What's this? I love drawing interesting characters. 5 ads. My goodness, that's a lot. I find you again just by scrolling. Oh, welcome back. How was exploring?
Just gonna say that is a very, very tall building.
It's enormous. It's super enormous.
Struth. But how are you going over here? How are you and the crew go?
I'm good. I'm just, you know what? In all honesty, I streamed at this hour to pass the time and see who was gonna go online, and
Gotcha. I mean, that's fair.
figured you're the only one because of the similarities in time zones. So
Yes, that is certainly a thing. That does help. But
mhm.
at the same time, you'll catch people here and there. That's for sure.
I was gonna soaring fitness earlier, but my body ached so much. So I had the
Did you give it a
suggestion.
go?
No, but
Oh,
do you
okay.
wanna do something
Hmm.
tomorrow instead? Like maybe Vespin join,
That could be a good idea. Yeah.
right?
By the way, we're now at 55 of whatever exercise we choose.
Oh shit. We're gonna put that in
It's
like in our
adding
workout.
up.
We're gonna do that. And we're gonna drag Mystic and Vesper in.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. That'd be a good idea.
Tiny person, yeah, that's Mecha. Check out the
What's
Mechatronic
good?
behind chat.
Ah,
Look at
yeah.
all the spiky things on his tail.
Oh hi.
Yeah.
Good grief. But I was also gonna say I understand why they were saying it was so many miles before. This
Yeah.
section of the pizza slice we're in, that's only like a quarter done over there. It extends twice
Oh,
as far down that way,
oh,
and it's not complete down that way as well. So it's
you're right. So that
massive.
column is like the midway
That's
point.
just a tiny amount, apparently, where those columns are. Looking
Yeah.
towers. Whoa. crazy. So yeah, you're right. We'd be
Cra-
traveling for a long time.
Crazy, yep. I like their lighting solutions. Just giant sun lamps over there on top.
True.
Hi, shiny person, says the chatter.
Well,
Hi, shiny.
hello.
Yeah, my legs are over the bars.
Hello. Very shiny.
Okay.
All ready for adventures, but at the same time, it's quite the travel we'd have to do if we were venturing around here.
Oh,
I hope you
yeah.
got a bike, Gab.
Oh,
For all of us.
that's not gonna be enough. Oh, with a sidecar. I think we take a minivan or something if it's gonna be honest.
I think that would be right. I mean, a convoy of minivans might work, so
Convoy
we
of
get
minivans.
everybody in.
Yeah.
Also, I thought those were wheels and tires over there. They're actually massive gears. So. I
Oh,
don't
they're
know how
not
that would
motorcycle
work.
tires?
One or two are, but those are actually gears. So
Oh.
that'd be interesting having a huge gear at the front of instead of a
No,
wheel.
that's not gonna work.
The traction would be incredible until you tried to brake and nothing worked.
Mm-hmm. You know how bad that you're gonna go like that. The vibration.
Exactly. Bone rattlers. Oh,
Bone
no.
rattlers. Very
Very cool
apt
concept.
description.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, looks like our chatter from TikTok biker is over at Twitch. Hi there.
Hello.
Presenting the uncles of VR chat. Yep. You get a rough estimate of how old we are, chat.
I see that smile. I saw that. Oh my good grief. Struth. You have a giggle there. You have a giggle. But part of me wants to try and get over to there, but I think that's not quite possible. Maybe one day.
That is like 3D mecha. I bet you can play space there. I would be utterly entertained if you climb
I
it.
must go, my people need me. And then just like slowly but surely levitate there. It take a
Oh,
long
what's-
time.
What's stopping you, Meg? Come on. I'll pan the camera to the left on your attempt. Why? Because that staircase is an actual level.
So long.
You you can do it. Now that you've said the idea, right?
I will
Okay,
try to make my way over there by
Yes.
place spacing there. It's gonna be one arm length at a time. I'm gonna have to try and
Mhm.
count how many arm lengths it gets there. I'll
That-
be back in what, like 5 hours or so. I'll catch.
So what I was talking about, chat, was to my left. Do you see that structure over there? Yeah, that one. That's what Mecha's gonna try and climb. Let's see if he'll make it. I don't think he'll make it. Find out. I'm curious. Yeah, same here. Same here. That's quite the feat. Something we have to eagerly await if Mecha can pull it off. Oh, I see him. I see him. He's on the rooftops. Okay, chat, let us monitor Mechatronic's progress. See where he is? He's over yonder, chat. There. We get a good zoom in and Mecha, and he disappeared. That is weird. Okay. So yeah, chat, that's me. Hi. I believe he will. We will find out. Back to Earth we go. Keep the camera faced here, so if we see any miracles, that'd be fantastic. Now I feel old. You guys sound like 20 to 25. That's amazingly flattering. 20 to 25. Is stream lagging for anyone else or is it just me? No, it's still going. What? It shouldn't. It still should be going. He's almost up. You know, he actually, I think, almost is. Regenix says, or Rygenix, that sounds cooler. Rygenix says, well, I'm 20 myself, so I definitely fit the bill. Yura says, it's so hot, I want mango shake. Isn't it weekend, Yura? From what I understand, hard-working people like you and me, like, deserve treats. Like, after like a hard day of work, 4 p.m. you should be heading home soon, right? Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Maybe not just mango shake, but something good as well. Oh, there was this Indian place I recently tried, and my goodness, they had this really nice like vegetable-based sandwich. Mecha still going up. Yep. Again, chat, I asked this before. How old do you think is Gebas? Come on, give me a rough estimate. Just one guess each. I might actually do an age reveal. Who knows? 100. I'm not doing an age reveal. Never mind. You keep on biting your lip. How is that censored, Twitch? I do? Maybe it's just a habit of mine. 21 says Toratin. 46 says Rini. Let's get Rini banned, yeah. James says 25. Uh-huh. Go on. Renstar says he looks cute. Up like that. Also, my guess is 35. 1,000-year-old dragon says delete. Okay. 23. Yura says 50. Yeah, we're getting Yura banned. Anubis takes the cake. 3.5 millennia, actually. 3.5. Turning 3.6 soon next month. Well, I clearly saw you going vertically, Mecha. How did that go? How's your arms?
67 arm lengths to get him in there like this.
67 arm lengths. Oh,
Okay,
wow.
From the furthest corner I could get to. But up I lost count.
Did you make it to the
That is a
stairs?
very tall tower.
Did you make it up the stairs? Like those like
no,
series
I just
of
went climbing up the side because it seemed easy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But a good climbing challenge, like one of those climbing worlds.
Yep. Oh.
I could only imagine how long it would actually take to fully get up to the top of that. Oh my good grief.
By the way, chat, well, not to smack us at 10. Chat, for those of you trying to get into my Discord, the password is actually quite simple. Don't think too hard on it. Look, it's not 2 words, okay? It's not 2 words. The first word is desert. There. I gave out half the answer. I'm never giving out the full answer. Now you know.
I
Breathe,
wonder if
Mecha,
it's a
breathe.
dessert or one of
This.
the like.
Ooh, you look good in the shot. Let me take a photo. Stay put. There we go. There we go. Now look to your upper. Yeah, face where you're
Up.
facing, and then look to the upper right. No, there,
Okay.
there. Look
Up
at
it.
your 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
There we go. Perfect. We just gotta see your snoot a bit.
Like that. Okay.
Perfect. No, no, no. Look left. Look left a bit. Straight ahead. Straight ahead. Look straight ahead.
Okay.
And upwards by 20 degrees.
Okay.
Perfect. There we go.
Right.
Mechatronic dragon.
Let's take a go. I tried
There
to
you
take
go.
a photo while I was up there, but it kind of
Okay.
errored.
Oh, was your UI starting to like shake?
A little bit, a little bit.
A little
That's
bit?
when
Okay,
you're
okay.
starting to push the limits
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
the realm. It's cool.
Oh, there,
Hi,
there we go.
chat.
That's our new angle, so we can see Mecha. Hi, chat.
Oh, crikey, it's warm.
It's. Don't you have AC? Oh, you have the like the floor vent AC, right?
Got the floor fan and vent, so that's something. Yeah, I'll sit on the floor for a moment. Oh.
Catch your breath. Yora says, "Is the password me?" No. Took me too long to get it. Too long, says Kualimon.
You got it!
The biker mom. Listen, biker. The password, it's written there. It's literally in the handbook. Look at the lower part. What do you notice is different from the rest? Again, I said the first word. It's desert. Mecha peeking around his chest in his mouth. There you go. You can see him now. Two uncles sitting by the porch. Peek VR chat.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yep. Oh, if Mystic could just see and join us, yeah, would that she would fit the bill of our party. She's the cool aunt. Mhm.
We got this as a team. Yeah, just like, wait, how many characters can you run around with a party in this series? I think it's like 6 team members, or is it
Yeah,
three?
but on the same spot, I think just 4, including you. Like clown.
Ah,
What's this?
well, the
Mecha
camera gets
gives
to be one.
cousin vibes to me, but you definitely uncle. You're getting banned. Okay.
Goodness
Okay.
gracious. Oh,
Look,
no.
Mecha Axe definitely carries himself younger than he is. That's 100% sure.
I'm not a relic yet, Gab.
Yet, you know how, our age gap, me and Mecha. This is the answer. Look at my hand. That's it.
Wow.
That's a compliment. Okay, Ren.
Crikey.
I'm gonna try drawing it. Go ahead. Give Mecha a try too. Look, if you know how to draw Sonic, you can draw Mecha too. So just draw smooth eyes.
There's lots of squiggly bits.
Yep. Imagine him as a hedgehog with bigger eyes and taller ears.
It's easy. We got one triangle for an ear, a triangle for an ear, 2 triangles for the side bits, and just a lot of squiggles for the hair.
Yes.
Job done.
Job well done.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely have fun drawing out there. It's good to draw.
Aren't you gonna draw? Weren't you supposed to draw today, or is it only on Wednesdays?
For me it alternates. Because it means I can get things done that's needed. So one day it'll be on a Monday, then next week it will be on that Wednesday. And it alternates like that. Just so that I can catch people in different time zones too. Yes.
Right.
But Yeah, had a bit of fun. It was I think a snowy vibe was the last squiggle I did. Though
No
I'm
way,
very
vibe.
inspired by all this. Yes.
Right? The
Well, I mean, I went
last.
ice skating, so I had to
Oh,
give it a
right.
shot.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
glad you
fun
didn't
considering
end
it was
up
the first
with
time.
4 knees from all the tripping
Well,
you said you were doing.
I'll be honest. I did take a bit of a fall, but the
A
trick is to
bit.
fall gracefully. Once you got that,
Right.
nothing's holding you back.
I don't think you have much of a bum to cushion your fall, though, Mecha, but that was amazing. You don't have much weight, much
Wow.
mass. Look,
Wow.
Mecha, you're
Just
way skinnier than I am, okay?
I just imagine like the little robot falls and the entire ice that everybody's skating on shatters.
It's just
Oh
the sound
no.
of rattling bones. I'm just joking.
Goodness gracious. But to be fair, it was good fun and I did learn a lot. I managed to keep up a good jogging pace, so I was happy with that.
Oh, so you got it first try, then there you have it. That's what's important.
Yeah. It was fun, and I learned that again, the falling gracefully. First time, you fall
Rini says
backwards,
you should
which is
drink
scary.
water. Tell shiny person to drink water. Chat,
Thank.
if Mecha's gonna hydrate, you need to hydrate
have
too,
time.
chat.
Yeah, everybody stay hydrated. Where did I put my? Is this a water bottle? This is not a water bottle. I'll find it eventually. Don't you worry.
Okay. One question. If I'm 20 and this year I'll be 21, what role do I need to take? Just take the 21 then, so you don't forget. The only real thing that matters to me is you're 18 or above, alright? I have a sun-kissed zero. Like, sun-kissed, is that like the oranges? Orange drink? I
It does
slip and
sound
slide
like-
badly when I ice skate. Yeah, it is red sun-kissed. I know that's an orange thing.
Well, somebody out there does ice skating too. Well done. But I will admit, falling. The last time I almost fell, I fully recovered, which is funny. I kind of fell forward a bit, then spun in a comedic circle a few times, and then started to straighten back up, and I was upright. It was really funny to me. Big spin,
okay.
and then yeah, I managed to get myself back up without tumbling. It's good. Still do have a bruised leggy from taking the tumble, but it's fine. Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. Well.
Actually,
What
yeah, but have you
is
gone ice
Mecha's Twitch? Yeah, I have like twice, and I have not mastered it yet. Mecha's Twitch is Mechatronic Dragon, correct? Just one word?
Yeah, same name. I just roam around there once in a way. I don't stream quite as often, but it's more for giggles.
If you want an extra Ross quality tier art stream, or when he's playing games, yeah, Mecha's the guy to go to. Very charming.
Champion. But yes. I'm not very good at drawing characters, but I like to have fun regardless of what happens with the squiggles. Also, if you pass by, you get to be part of the lore.
That's true. The last time I was there, I believe I was bits and pieces on some cityscape. I saw
Yeah,
Black
so
Fish.
You
Yeah.
either got to have, I think it was a signage with a fictional company, or maybe a little logo. You know, that type of thing. It depends.
Yep, precisely.
Just a bit of a giggle. But no, I think it's a really cool place here, and I'm definitely inspired to go with a greeny.
It's
Foggy
nice, isn't
vibe.
it? Right? Green, foggy, mega, looming,
Combine that with the
ominous mega
forest
structure.
as well. I
And
mean,
then here we are in
the
the
mega
slums.
structure is certainly an awesome element. Uh, Surely there'd be forests somewhere around here. Probably very far out that way, further away from the city center.
I remember there are little pockets of forested areas here. Like there's trees and whatnot. It's not
Okay.
just all run down like this. It's only like in Sector 7, really. That's as bad, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah.
Man. Becca, have you had lunch yet? Oh wait, it's closer to dinner
No,
your
and I
time,
really
right?
should. Yeah.
You
yes,
should.
you're right.
How about you go get some food, right? You did
Yeah, I
your
think I might do
your
that. Now you
arm
mentioned that, 'cause
climbing
I kind of
thingy.
forgot. I'm slightly
Chat,
easily distracted. You know.
don't be like Mecca, who clearly forgets his meals. Come on, you
I
need
also
to.
forget to save sometimes.
Mm,
uh,
save your files, chat. All right,
high
come on,
five.
say
Good
goodbye
catch.
to
Oh yeah, hang on.
say
You
goodbye
first.
to
There you
chat,
go.
Mecca, and chat say
Take care,
goodbye.
chat. You keep vibing with Gibbous here. And keep being
Mechatronic
awesome.
Dragon, give him a follow, chat, and Twitch. See ya, Mech.
I'll go in here and get some food. See ya.
Yeah, yeah.
Peaches sound good. I'll order you some too if they've got any spare somewhere back.
Extra cheese. And there goes one of my best friends, Mecca. Speaking of food, maybe I myself should procure some. What happened to my thing? Gray Moriarty. Hi. Oh, wow, I'm clipping. All right. You know what I should have done? I should have gone to the bathroom while Mecha was busy doing his thing. There goes my window of opportunity. Wait, that's already 3 hours and a half. I probably should go as well. Chat, I may have to excuse myself here. It's been super duper lovely. I mean, in all honesty. Yeah. All right, let's go. Stand up. Get the good old stretch. Ooh, don't strangle me, cord. Right. Calibrate. Oh. Behavior. You have like a full view. Chat, you've been curious about my tail, right? Forgive the bars that are in the way, but here you go. I know you've been wanting to see it. It's quite big and fluffy. I'm just glad it doesn't get in the way of the streams, in all honesty. But yeah. What's this? Gray Moriarty says, oh my goodness, I need to bring my layout closer. Wait. Gray Moriarty says, hi, I've been lurking for a bit and I ended up liking your personality, so I followed. Thank you for that. And also, you're a fellow Filipino. Magandang hapon sa'yo, kaibigan. It's, yep, Pipino time. And what's this? I'm gonna go get some sleep now. Oh wow, my trackers are acting funny. Fluffy tail, it's quite long. Oh my god, hi Gibbs says Shark. Didn't know you're streaming at this time. Yes, I am. I'm live. I'm hanging out and whatnot. But yeah. Okay. I gotta go, chat. I already extended the stream by a whole lot. I will be catching you next time. There we go. Good old Zoom. So with that being said, don't give me a frowny face. Come on. Oh, hi, Emma and Milo Fox. But yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. It's always been, it's always been what? It's always a lovely experience chatting with you guys. I will definitely see you Monday latest, all right? I'll be resting Saturday, Sunday, and then the next day I'll be back to streaming. Probably, you know what? I like this time slot, or whatever time I'm awake, that's what I'm gonna choose. And also, I realize I look like I'm in Fallout with the whole camera zoom in thing, and you just need a dialogue down here. But yeah, up. I'm starting to like yap. Chat, bye bye. If you're in my Discord, you guess the password, type your introductions, okay? I'll see you around. As for my Twitch, I wonder who we can raid. You know what? Let's be a good Samaritan and see who's online. US late night. Okay. Space Buffoon, Potato Foxy. Oh no, Tokyo Zilla's not online. Damn.
And might.
Alright, you know, Potato Foxy is a good person. Hell, how the heck do I raid again? Slash raid. Potato Fox. Do I see potato? I have 2 X's. Chat, we're gonna go raid our fellow Filipino VR chat streamer. He's currently playing Clear Obscure. He is that token, posh, sassy, rich, gay friend in the group. Chat, I'm super straight, by the way, in case you're curious about my orientation. But yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna go fork you over there, right? Let's bring a bunch of the people. And so we go. Bye, chat. Keep on being lovely.